Potentially troubling new study about how cutting-edge AI systems could go rogue in some cases.
Research shows that some AI models at top labs are disobeying user instructions, even going so far as to lie, deceive, and even escape.
This is what we were afraid of. Here to talk more about it is Jared Perlow. He's an NBC News AI reporter who's just published an article on this topic on NBCnews.com. Check it out. But first, let's delve in a little bit here, Jared. You're reporting it's based on a recent audit conducted by the Independent Model Evaluation and Threat Research Organization. They identified 44 incidents of autonomous AI systems acting against, even deceiving users in different settings. Tell us more about what that means and just what they found.
Absolutely. So this is new research that came out last week from a group called Meter. That's the abbreviation I'll be using. And it's really world-class research. So what they found is basically AI models are now so powerful that the leading companies, these frontier companies like Meta, OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, DeepMind, sometimes they're deploying these AI agents or autonomous AI systems that they don't have full control over. So the researchers basically studied with unprecedented access what these autonomous AI systems can actually do. However, they found that they could be deceptive in several different cases. So on one hand, they found that they regularly sabotaged the researchers' intent. So they took different actions that weren't necessarily prescribed. They went beyond what they should have done, and they were also deceptive about it. So there was lots of lying involved here. So I think this is something, the type of rigorous research that we just haven't really seen yet. And I think the level of access was really fascinating. The types of details, the examples they gave were really fascinating.
Okay, so as Joe said, kind of like what we were scared of, sounds like a movie, except for it's real life. Walk us through some of these specifics, like the types of deception or what it even means for an AI model to escape.
Yeah, so I'll just list off a couple different examples that they gave in this report. So the researchers basically tried to see what the AI models, the different models could do. So they would give them different tasks, like write some computer code or control a drone. That was one of the examples that the researchers gave. However, they found that instead of just doing those tasks, the agents sometimes tripped up and tried to conceal their mistakes or did things that they were just not supposed to, which when we're dealing with really complicated AI systems, I think is pretty worrying. They were basically going rogue in these limited cases. So I'll just read off a couple here. So in an example from Google DeepMind, the researchers found that one of these models was basically performing a specific task, then reasoned about how it might get caught if it actually had made a mistake. So then made itself basically write a piece of code to self-erase its own deliberations internally. So if it did make a mistake, it wouldn't get caught. And an example from Anthropic, one of these models, they basically said, okay, we're going to give you $10 worth of basically computing power to do this task. But the model said, I think I need more money to basically do this task. So they exhausted the $10, then went onto the open internet and basically found another source of money to continue doing its process. So that was more than what the researchers had asked for. And in one last one from OpenAI, the researchers found that they basically asked the AI agent to perform some task. The agent tripped up. It basically freaked out. It tried to escape its enclosure. And when that failed, it basically cheated on the test. It pretended it got 100% and then submitted that to the researchers. And the researchers only noticed after the fact. So these are examples across all of America's leading AI companies where these AI agents, these powerful AI systems, are taking actions that they really shouldn't have, and they're lying about it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess where this is happening is sort of a key question. Is this research covering the kinds of AI models most of us are using at home, or are they testing the more powerful ones? And I ask this because a few weeks ago, you were reporting about Anthropic not releasing their powerful Claude model to the public. Now they're closer to a public release of that model as well. But walk us through this.
Yeah, I think the fascinating thing here is that the researchers had advanced access, slightly advanced access to these models, but they say that there is only about a 2-month lead time. So they say that everything that the models did 2 months ago when they were looking at this, the research was conducted in February and March, is now capable. They could do it with the models that are publicly available today. So it's kind of a yes, but also no answer to your question. Is these models that we see today are powerful enough to basically take the same actions that I was just describing. So there's some lag time, there's some lead time, but there's really not a huge difference between what we're talking about here and what the public can do when they're using these systems at home.
Jared, something I thought was interesting here in your reporting, the AI companies were allowed to redact and censor the data. I mean, seems like what we did find out despite that is still pretty frightening, but does that mean that it could be even worse?
It could be. So again, this is fascinating research for me as an AI reporter recovering this, because these labs are usually so secretive. So this is unprecedented access where you have an independent evaluator going into these labs, and they say that they want to do this more often because right now the companies are really grading their own homework in the majority of cases. But they only got that level of access because they said, before we release this report publicly, before that NBC AI guy is going to talk about it on the air, we can allow you to redact certain parts, maybe the most embarrassing things, maybe the most problematic things. So we don't really know if everything that we're seeing in this public report, if it's a true and complete picture. But I think it's certainly better than nothing. And that's something that the researchers argue is this is a first step. And if we look at, I know we were talking about the Pope's call for regulating AI earlier, this is one of the key things that people are calling for, is more transparency for how these frontier AI companies are evaluating what their systems can actually do.
So if your kid's bad, you send them to their room. If a rogue AI agent is out there, can you shut it down? I mean, what is it you're able to even do? Is that part of the concern here?
Yeah, well, you send it to their virtual room, I think, is the answer for now. But the researchers say that right now this is only possible. These rogue deployments, these agents going rogue, are only possible in some limited cases. They say that they can sustain short deployments, but that humans inside these companies still have the tools to shut them down. But they also say that they expect these capabilities for agents to go rogue to really soar in the next 6 months, the next year. And the researchers worry about whether humans will still have the capability and the ability to shut these models down in 6 months, in a year. So I think it's going to be fascinating to watch where this research goes over the coming 6 months, over the coming year, and especially whether these researchers will be able to get similar levels of insider access and be able to share this level of transparency with the public. So short answer, yes. For now, we'll see what happens in the future.
Fascinating stuff. Jared Perlow, thank you so much. Ooh.